Well, hey everyone, this is Andrew Jackson. I'm here with Ryan Lee, our brand new 1P, and also in attendance we have
Andrew Oken, president of the American Go Association.
Elaine Jiang.
and
Matthew Burrell.
I don't know if you can hear Matthew Burrell over there. He's the only guy who beat Ryan Lee. I don't know why we let him in the room. Anyway, this is Andy Jackson, and we're going to go over Ryan's game against Jeremy Chiu in the semifinals. I think it must have been the semifinals,
Yeah,
right?
semifinals.
Semifinals. So let's
This
get through it here.
was the second game in the best of three. I had a win already. In the
That's
round
right. You
robin.
played him in the round robin, and that's right. And so, which color are you here?
I'm white.
You're white. That's right. So he plays the micro Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
and so far this is pretty standard, right? Where we split,
Yep.
shoulder hit.
Yeah.
And were you saying that you don't like this move here for?
Yeah. So,
By the way, the cursor is going to be captured, so they can see what we're
okay.
pointing at.
so for this one,
Yeah.
recently black has been pincering here. So
Instead of the shoulder hit, or
no, instead of
instead of the nice move. I
Yeah.
see.
So to add more pressure on.
Right.
On
This is much
on
farther
white
away.
group.
There's a lot less pressure.
Yeah.
on it.
That's why this move, the peep,
Uh-huh.
is a lot harder to deal with
As black,
as black.
because the pincher is so far away.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So normally, can I play on this?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So normally, if black does this, this is sort of a mini joseki that has been played out by many
Uh-huh.
professionals.
That's right.
However, this one is
Since
this
it's so
black-
much far
this
away,
black stone is so far that
so
this
the white
one-
group's a lot happier, huh?
the white
Oh,
group
okay.
is much more comfortable.
So it is. So since peep is hard for black to deal with, black connected, right?
Yeah, but this ended up not.
Not being so good,
not
right?
being so
yeah,
good,
that's right.
yeah.
That's right. So, so you just make the knight's move to sort of settle yourself, and even
Mhm.
after this, you've got the hane.
Yep.
Later to make shape.
I want it to be fast,
So you tanuki to come up to the top. I
Yep.
got it.
and this lower right group had more agi, so
Sure.
it's not perfectly.
It's not as
good.
weak. It's not as attackable. Or what are you trying to say?
I'm saying the black group still has agi in its territory, not solid territory.
Right. We can't count all of this bottom area as
Mhm.
territory because of that aji, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, but black's not behind yet, right? Like
Yeah.
this is still normal enough.
Mhm.
Okay, so the far approach seems natural,
Yep. This
And
is all pretty.
pretty normal.
Standard.
But this seems strange, right? We were talking. I noticed you were talking about the game with Kim Young Won, or
Yep.
you were talking about the game with a couple folks, and this
Mhm.
connection came for some criticism, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
What-
I also agree because since white already has a stone here,
Uh-huh.
and there's also in the bottom left group. Generally, if it was the opening.
Sure. Well, it's kind of like the Kobayashi, where if black plays
Yeah,
here,
that's
and
right.
then white will play up here,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was.
But this
trying to
isn't.
refer
That's what you're going
Yeah,
for, the
yeah.
Kobayashi, right?
Yeah, since white already has a knight's enclosure on
Right,
the bottom
on
left.
the bottom left.
Yeah,
That
it's-
pattern doesn't apply anymore. Right. So instead, what should black do? Black should draw back here, and then what would happen?
Then I think I would tanuki again.
Tanuki again.
I,
Okay.
I think the bottom is quite big now because after this exchange, white's not afraid of.
Of a black play up there. Right?
Yeah.
So you'd come down here maybe, and then black will do this one, something like this.
Maybe not directly.
Black will probably have to answer this down here, or
Yeah, because this the jump isn't necessarily beneficial. for
okay.
black.
Okay. So, but this is still better for black to do than connecting, right?
Yep. This
And-
is
And that's because why? Because after the connection.
after the connection. There's a clear weakness
a
here.
clear weakness in the shape here.
Yeah.
I see. And this
And-
lets you sweep the base.
Yeah,
And scoop all the
it's
territory.
better idea for black to settle
I see.
instead of
So
sort
just
of floating in the middle.
this floating group, we don't like this then for
Mhm.
black. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because we're both sort of taking control of the mouse here. Feel free to jump in with any questions, by the way.
Okay.
All right. So he makes the shape, and so this knight's move, he has the choice sort of between this one and this one.
Yeah, I pointed out later because this knight's move has no white has no clear sort of peeps that are really annoying.
Right. Whereas when he goes the other way,
Mhm.
white has a peep. Go ahead, show us.
Here, yeah, I did this later in the game, and which
Right.
is really annoying to respond. I mean, he can connect,
but we don't like that. That leaves that cut.
Yeah, I mean this stone still has 4 liberties, so that
Sure.
white stone is clearly attacking the black.
Right, it hasn't been affected at all. That's an interesting way to think about it, that the peep stone still has all of its liberties attached. I wouldn't have phrased it that way. But it's not something that we do immediately. We're going to aim at it for later, right?
Yep.
So we're going to
Also, I mentioned that the bottom is really big, so if white attacks the group first and gets gote, then black is free to
reinforce. So we don't want to take the risk of attacking because if we end up with gote.
that's what my mentality was
I see.
when I played the bottom.
All right. So we come down here with 1, and black attaches.
This is standard Joseki.
You take control, man. You drive.
So this move I wanted to sort of exploit the agi here.
Right.
So if black responded here, then I would probably go for the thickness.
Go over top, right?
Yeah. So this is Joseki. And now I'm free.
Now you're free to come back and keep.
So if I exchange this later, might not have been able.
So this is more of a probe then, huh? To figure out which way black is going to answer. And because black answers this way, now you decide that you want to take the territory.
Yeah, because for this one, if black does the standard,
right,
then so this will gonna happen. But here I have a move that black is really hard to respond.
I see.
Because it sort of goes right between the 2 stones.
Right.
And black can't get a comfortable.
Eye of the elephant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for black to get a comfortable connection.
You know, I saw in the chat someone who's called this move riding the elephant, which is a very different translation than the eye of the elephant. I wonder if they've misheard it or something. Either way, this is at the elephant's eye here. It does give black.
But either way, I think at the end black should have chosen this variation.
Then the other one.
Yeah, because black, since the middle group, so the top group here is weak. So in the game, I got
able to build this thickness.
Yeah, I was able to build a thickness in Sente.
Right.
And also I didn't lose much territory, and I invaded sort of all his territory.
So you got both halves of the deal.
Yeah. So spending a move here, spending a move here wasn't worth it. I mean,
I see.
He didn't really gain much territory.
Got it.
And it was slightly slow.
Okay. So at this point, we would say that maybe you've taken a lead.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. So you're already feeling comfortable. I see. All right. So we turn our attention to on top here, and we take this attack. This is a really interesting move. I don't think anybody saw this one coming. There was somebody who said this is the sort of move I would have played when I was younger too. So it was a young man's move, full of fighting spirit. But maybe after this sequence, it's maybe not optimal for black. Maybe he would have chosen a different way. As black, maybe it's too late to look for a good move because we've already seen that it's kind of bad.
But
there must be something better. Right?
Yeah, there's one where black can play this one. And white will
You were
jump.
planning to jump.
Yeah, and then black doesn't want white to get good shape, so he wants to play here.
Okay.
And if we just do the more simple one, like this seems pretty good for white also.
Yeah. Hard to argue with this for white. That's right. But this is maybe better than the game result as well.
Let's look at the game result.
All right. Let's go back. So he attaches on the
So
outside.
here he didn't have a comfortable response, so he tried to do something creative.
Sure. Which is a good thought. It's a good thought. If you don't see anything good, looking for something creative is interesting. But it's still...
But now he didn't want to connect. Although this was really big.
As soon as you cut here, you have almost 60 points on the left side, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be a really tough game for black. It's going to be all uphill from here.
Yep.
So I'm afraid I didn't record many of your other games. It's just the luck of the draw where I ended up. So, but this is the one that I had, so this is where it's going to fit. Is there a chance here where black can make a comeback?
I think I was leading quite comfortably at this point because white had a lot of cash.
Okay.
A lot of territory.
Almost 60 points by this point.
Very solid territory, and no weak group. So he tried to exploit my weakness on the right side, but
by peeping here or earlier?
Earlier when he cut off the stone,
here.
But it wasn't. It was just simply not big enough, and my one space extension
is enough to be alive comfortably. Another example of how this pincher doesn't quite put the white group under enough pressure.
Exactly.
Right? So I want to talk to you real quick about this move here, where you cut to come into the middle, because I thought that when I was looking at this as the recorder, I was like, how is white going to find his way in? Because while you have 60 points here, it's not like we can just sit back and let black make all the territory in the middle. So I was looking at jumps, and attaching on top.
Yes,
and
that's
all of these different sorts of ways.
That's
to get
exactly
in.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
after playing this move, I thought he would. I thought he absolutely had to respond here.
After cutting.
Yeah. So when he played this move, my first instinct was, can I tanuki?
I see.
And
And so that's what led you, because you assumed he would play here. That's
Mhm.
why you started looking at the cut first, huh?
Yes.
Interesting. Because the cut seems like a great way to break into the center. It means that you're not going to get attached.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of different options here.
Mhm.
And at this point, it's going to be pretty tricky for.
Yeah.
For
He had a
black.
really uncomfortable shape here.
Right. Uncomfortable is a good word for it. There's no real place that he likes to play. And this cut here, it doesn't make as much.
Here I
option.
actually made a mistake here.
Oh, yeah?
Because when he cut here,
Uh-huh.
I could have played this one.
Uh-huh.
I didn't play this one to be safe, but this one would have a lot more co-threads.
Oh, I see. And if there's ever going to be a co, you don't want to worry
Yeah,
about
but
the co-threads, huh?
It turns out later that it turned out later that this was actually a big problem, because if I responded here and he plays here, then this would be sente.
I see.
So he had to connect. Now if we go back to what happened in the game,
When you played there.
when I played here and he did this Atari is not sente anymore, because he can
That's very
exchange
interesting.
this.
Well, I was looking at that as well, and I when we say this is sente,
Mhm.
I wasn't, because while assuming that you had to answer somewhere over here, I'm going to put that
Mhm.
over here for now.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at this and realizing that this is damage. Sure, this is very large,
Mhm.
but I didn't see this as being enough damage to necessarily make this sente. Because
Mhm.
if it comes to the choice of letting this group live or enduring, this painful sequence, I would say that this is painful, but it's not enough territory for black to catch up.
Yeah.
So I didn't read that as being sente. Is there something really more painful after this for
No,
black?
but
or
it
it
was
is really painful. Like,
yeah. It is a mistake.
Okay,
Like,
I see.
The Atari was definitely the better move.
You mean this is sorry.
Yeah.
At 2 here.
Mhm.
I see. Okay, so that was a little mistake. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, but instead
So now I couldn't do anything at the bottom.
against the bottom half, so you
Yeah.
need to jump over to the top half.
Yeah.
I see. Go ahead, drive again.
Okay.
After you.
So here he was quite desperate, I think, because right now black has not that much territory and white has.
He needs to
7.
kill you in the middle.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
Right.
Right. So when he made the cut, I was actually getting a bit scared because
Right. Now,
because it did seem a little more complicated than I was comfortable with.
sure.
So, however, luckily I had the wedge. Well, I mean, he had really bad shape, so my first instinct that
We want to
was,
push against the shape
Yeah.
as much as we can.
was that there had to be something.
Okay.
I mean, bad shape generally leads to
so
some,
you
some
didn't
badness.
read this all out back here, huh?
I did read out to the black move. when
To
he-
this black move.
Yeah.
I see.
So here was I could have sacrificed the middle group if I had some more benefits,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, since his shape was
So bad. The
yeah,
decision
I-
at this point was to
Mhm.
start pushing on the shape. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. All right. So now with the wedge,
Yeah.
black is going to be in some trouble because we've got this great squeeze going on.
Here he had no.
There's not a lot of choices. Again, he
choices.
can't take the middle because in exchange you taking this left
He
side
he,
would be big enough, right?
he can't take the middle because there's simply he simply can't, because I can play here,
Oh.
and if he takes, I can connect. So now these stones are also dead.
Oh, interesting. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's not just he'd lose them. It's not just he'd lose these. He'd also lose these here.
Yeah, which is pretty much
I hadn't
the
read
whole
that.
board.
Good thing you're here, man. All right. Helps us answer that a lot. You saw that, right, Matt?
No.
No. All right. Okay. Okay. So, so this is what happens here, and he has to take here,
Mhm.
which gives you this move.
This move was slightly arrogant.
Uh huh.
Because this move was slightly better than the connection, but the connection was simply enough
For him to be alive, or you mean simply enough for you?
for me to live in the center,
oh.
because there's quite a bit of space, and he had there was a lot of
He has
AGA
some
and
things on the
attachments.
bottom to
Mhm.
deal with. Yeah. Whereas this one is arrogant because, whoops, because he has the possibility of choosing this ko later?
Yeah.
Or are you leaving it open for you to start the ko later? Which is it either one?
Well, this was definitely threatening the ko,
Uh-huh.
but he has
That peep.
Yeah,
right,
my
exactly.
upper shape isn't.
He'll peep
as
here
well.
and then follow that with this one
Mhm.
here, and he can live, right?
Yep.
This is a sequence that he has to live later.
Mhm.
Anyway, so he still has to kill the group in the middle. So
Yes.
he's sort of
That's sort of his only goal right
His
now.
only
That's
go.
his only chance.
right. And he doesn't have some other options here, like maybe peeping or something.
Well, peeping sort of kills the.
Oh, that's right. It
it's-
makes it harder for him to win that
Yeah,
ko.
it makes
Yeah,
that
yeah.
urgency that he has to connect now.
That's right. That's right.
So now this sequence
Mhm.
was to get that ko threat. Now
So you're planning on starting the ko when you're making this cut
Yeah.
in this sequence here.
so this sequence, normally he wouldn't take this stone,
Mhm.
but because of that ko,
he has to be worried about
take
it. Yeah,
Because attacking these 4 stones would be a
Mhm.
very big ko threat.
of course.
Yeah.
It would be big enough because it would also mean he wouldn't be able to kill the middle anymore. Right?
Yeah.
So, and since that's what he has to do, he can't have that
Exactly.
as a ko threat. Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Now, the interesting thing here is that when he ataried, I couldn't start the ko. Because in this sequence, in Atari, he can take. Now, this is pretty bad. Like, White lost
You lose a lot of points.
a lot just getting that one ko threat.
Sure.
And the fact that he can just connect and that White has to fix,
And then
so he can start this ko.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And now you don't have as many ko threats. So
Mhm.
there's
Now,
not a lot of big ko
However,
threats.
he has ko threats here.
Right. He has ko threats against the left side, against this weaknesses
Mhm,
over
yeah.
here. Right.
So after reading out that sequence, I decided to extend the stone.
Rather than start the ko.
Yeah.
And
So
he
after this, now I can use the ko threat.
right, because now the ko threat got that much bigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, I don't lose much. The main thing being I don't lose much doing this Atari. Right? Last time when I Atari'd, he would take
the stone.
take the
That's
stone,
right.
yeah.
Whereas this, in this
And that
case,
would
he
lose
has to
all
connect.
the AGA in the middle,
Yeah.
which
makes
would
a lot of
mean
sense.
near impossible for me to live if I had to play. So here, if I win the ko,
Right.
and threaten to live, I have 2 moves to live in the center.
Sorry, which ones? Show us.
So for this ko,
Mm-hmm.
now anything in the center is sente.
Mhm.
So I can play here, it would be sente because he needs to play this one and live.
Right.
So any move that fixes sort of the ko middle would
Problem makes you live.
Yeah.
I see.
So here I wanted to.
It's not a logical leap I was prepared to make, Elliot.
So here I wanted
Mhm.
to also exploit his shape. I wanted to.
Uh-huh.
I actually was aiming to play this one and fight the ko here in
Further,
the middle.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make
So
some more
let's
ko
talk about
threats.
this here because this ko here in the middle, it seems also like you can. I guess this doesn't work. I was going to say again that
Yeah.
being willing to endure
Yes,
this here,
now
so
we
that then
see
you can
that
come back and
problem.
do this. So like if this happens and he wants to, I don't know how he would continue here,
Mhm.
but the idea is that if you take this, I guess you would have to do something else. What I'm trying to say is that sequence where you would endure this.
Mhm.
Now that might be something you're willing to endure if it means that the group in the middle lives. Does
Mhm.
that make sense? If it
Yeah.
means that you can take this capture stone or the cutting stone.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Here, yeah. So my main goal now is to get some ko threats.
Uh-huh.
So also, since I have many sentes in the middle,
Uh-huh.
I can really sort of attack Black's weakness.
And
Up
his
here.
weakness here is how much do you need to get? Is just taking these enough, or do you still just need to live?
I still just need to live.
because of the
That's-
cash lead that you have
Yeah.
from the left side. I see.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're just going to exploit the shape weaknesses and settle
Mhm.
with whatever we need to do. Right?
Yeah.
That's the plan. Okay. So we jump and he has to push through here
Mhm.
and cut, which he does. And so this, as you said, is sente.
Yep.
Right. But he didn't answer it. He doesn't answer it in the way that we thought he would. I
Mhm.
mean, when we said this was sente previously, you had him peeping and living.
Yeah.
And instead, what he does is he starts to ruin
Yeah.
your eye shape, forcing
Yeah,
you
so
to come
here
with
in
Satara.
this sequence, there are a few things. So first of all, if he plays the usual move that I mentioned earlier, I can Atari here, and make the tigers mount.
And just capture the stones in the middle.
Yeah, and the middle stones are actually dead because
Totally dead.
Yeah, there's no way to kill these two white stones.
No.
Yeah, so that obviously wouldn't work for him. So he needed to get a sente in the middle. So he tried to sort of sort of in desperation
it
now
hits
because
the one with the most liberties. Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, this is the one that seems to constrict your liberties the farthest. But you still get to force on that side, and then this move sort of maximizes your ability here. But a lot of folks were thinking this was turning into a capturing race and counting, the 4 liberties here for black, and the number of liberties here on white. But you weren't ever reading this as a capturing race, right?
No.
And that's because you had an out, and that out was
so this push here.
this push, right? Okay, got it.
So if I just want to play out the sequence. So
Yeah, go ahead.
white cannot actually fill one of the liberties because black can play here and make the Atari, and white cannot
let the stone die, or
if
black
white
will get
plays
an eye.
here, then black goes under, and he actually gets
much more.
well. Actually, this is dead now.
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
But so the only sequence that's possible for white is this, which means black still had 4 liberties. Which
Interesting.
Is really
so taking
pointless.
a liberty doesn't change the number at
so
all.
yeah, so here black has 4 liberties after white plays 1 stone. Now, if we simply start the capturing race here and do this,
Looks like it's going to come down to that coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so if it's like this and white fills, so now it's a ko. However, black will take first.
Right.
Now white,
There's no what coat threat could be big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this was quite dangerous. I mean, I could have maybe killed the bottom corner, and it could have been enough. But it's
too complicated.
Yeah, it's
you have
way
a
too
way
much of
that's
a risk.
simpler.
It wasn't
right,
worth it.
Absolutely.
And there was obviously a simple way. I mean, if I had more liberties,
just one more.
yeah,
Then
1 or
it's-
2 more,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Right. So this push here for you is your escape hatch almost, right? Like you can,
Yeah.
you can take the escape hatch anytime you want, which
Yeah.
means he has to come through and do this,
Mhm.
and you take the extra liberty, which kills these in the center. Even if he tries to save them now, these stones in the middle will still die, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, black resigns.
Mhm.
Right? Thanks very much. Any other thing you want to say about the game? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No, go ahead, man.
Oh no.
Yeah?
No.
Yeah,
It was
a good
game. Yeah, it was a great game. He has a lot of strength. That
Yeah.
surprised me.
Yeah, a couple direction mistakes in the beginning, though, and he
Mhm.
was a little bit behind.
Yeah,
It's
that-
also tough doing one of these because he's not here to, talk about his choices as well. So it's tough, but it is great to see Jeremy. He had a lot of fun
Yeah,
at this tournament.
I think he has a lot of potential.
He's studying hard, so hopefully we'll see him back next year. All right, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Hope you guys enjoyed this. Take it easy. Say bye.
Bye.
You want to say bye, Andy?
Bye.
That's great.